Hey guys, this is Todd. I just wanted to quickly drop in and talk about a little concept about the basis of how this method works. And ultimately, it's an orientation shift towards changing your outlook to what's going on outside of you, to controlling the behaviors of others and the situations going on outside, and starting from working on what's going on inside, the things that you can control there. So, your mind, your emotions, your body, your breath, your body position, your carriage, your food, certain exercises for your nervous system, meditative states, non-sleep deep rest. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can actually gain some impressive control over what's going on within you. When you do that, you can actively change how life feels to you. Now, this isn't done all at once. It's a start, and then you got to change. And ultimately, it takes a while because the orientation that we're all taught and we're all given and is almost demanded from us is to make everyone outside of you the focal point and almost completely forget about what's going on inside you. So, one great way to start is to really pay attention while going through your usual day of actually seeing also what's going on within you, what's going on with your mind, what's going on with your emotions, what are you doing with your body, how do you feel at this moment, while you're also still paying attention to what's going on outside of you. Be a little careful when you try this. Don't start with driving because it'll be tough. You'll see you're not used to dividing your attention into two places at the same time, both inside and outside. But this fundamental shift is huge if you really want to change how you feel. Once you start to change that, once you get into the present moment and into yourself, that opens up a door to a whole new way of living life that can make your life a lot more enjoyable for you. So hopefully you get something out of this, and I'm going to add way more to it. This is just almost the beginning step to how everything else works. So we'll talk to you more soon. See you. Okay, so once you make this big paradigm shift and you start putting some of your attention back on yourself, back on your mind, on your emotions, on your body, on your breath, on what's actually going on within you, and not just all on the things going on outside of you, the things that you're trying to control. The first thing you'll notice is it's very hard to remember to do, that you keep getting lost in all kinds of external things. And on occasion that's useful, like if you get really busy with some important work. But often it's on things you can't control that are meaningless to you and your life. So the idea is to just keep putting yourself back in the frame of your attention, of your consciousness, aiming your mind at yourself some of the time. The second thing you're going to notice is that it's not only difficult to do because you keep forgetting, but that you start to find things that you don't like about yourself, or you start to feel all kinds of negative emotions about all kinds of aspects of yourself. That will knock you right out of the present moment. So for this, and really there's no reason to be super judgmental with yourself, just observe, just learn to watch, and all kinds of things will appear to you that you don't need to do anymore, that are almost glitches in your behavior, that are so automatic you don't see why they're there. But to be able to do that, you have to go at this with a non-judgmental frame of mind and just observe while you're going through your day. Don't make fun of yourself. Don't call yourself stupid. Don't think of yourself as the greatest thing in the world. That's the other error that you can make when you think you're the best person that's ever existed. Just observe. Just put yourself into the frame. Then you can get a sense of what you're thinking about. Probably you're missing most of it, of what emotions are coming up. Probably you can't even describe or define what emotions you're feeling. And so it becomes important to start getting a sense of that. And maybe you need a dictionary. Maybe you need to sit down and look up all kinds of emotions and define what it is you're feeling. Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you exuberant? Are you joyful? Are you outraged? What is the typical emotions that you're feeling all the time? And even more importantly, who or what is controlling those emotions? If it's sometimes like some kind of external force, try to put that aside as much as you can, so that you can get a sense of what your emotions are doing. Because later on, you want to be in control of that. And you do a lot of that by directing where your attention is. Later on, you can learn all kinds of cool ways of working with your nervous system and working with a bunch of cool exercises for generating the emotions you want. It's always kind of a conducting thing, like you're conducting an orchestra. It should never be forced, but it's an important set of skills to learn. So that's the place to start. First, realizing that you want to work with what's going on inside you. Second, understanding that that can be difficult to do. Third, watch without judging yourself. And we'll add more later. Thanks for stopping by. So once you begin to watch yourself and you have your attention going inside you and you're remembering to do it more often and you're being non-judgmental so that you can stay and keep observing, the next thing that you probably are going to become aware of is that your inner world is a bit of a mess. Sort of like you've been sitting in a house with the lights off, not paying attention to what's going on inside the house, but only looking outside the window or only watching what's on TV. So when you turn the lights on, you might notice that your emotions are all over the place. You might notice that your mind is running around all over you. If to go back to our house analogy, it might be like the plumbing has been flooding on your floor and the toilet is flooded through the bathroom and the dog and the cat has torn up everything around you and there's feces on the floor and all kinds of things are a little bit out of place, which can be quite startling at first. And it's just part of the pattern. It's just what happens. Once you begin to see that, then you can slowly start making order of it, which is just to clean up a piece at a time. So you just start by looking around and start in one corner, which for you, getting out of our analogy here, instead of like maybe in the analogy you take the trash out first, maybe with this you begin to say, I'm no longer going to tell myself that I'm an idiot anymore. Maybe that's something you notice that you say to yourself all the time. And if you really pay attention, you might find out that that came from maybe one of your parents or one of your teachers or your grandparents who somewhat jokingly said, "Oh, you're such an idiot," when things didn't go right. And you've heard it so many times from when you were a kid, it just became internalized. It's not even your thought. And when you see these kinds of thoughts that are bashing yourself or making fun of you, or on the flip side, telling you you're the best thing that's ever existed, that you're the most wonderful human in the world, that everyone else owes you something, these kinds of thoughts that put you out of touch with things, often they didn't come from you. And so now's the time to break them up so that you can have a better position in life. You want to get rid of all these automatic thoughts that are negative or wildly egotistical on the other side, so that you can have thoughts that are a little bit more appropriate to now and make you feel better about yourself. Bashing on yourself, getting negative emotions about yourself, they're not usually that helpful. Partly because they keep you from working on yourself. There's a time for them, of course. You might think, hey, I never want to do this again. And that's good. Just hold on to that and make the changes. Don't keep emotionalizing on it, because the emotion just burns up the energy and the time. You want to actually find a way to make a change. And the change can start in the thoughts. So change how you see it, change how you imagine it, change how you talk about it, because it's almost like a program running in your mind that will run just like a computer in your program, or a program in your computer. It'll just keep moving. So stop it and then change it a little bit by observation, and then you can add more and more directly as you go from there. So yeah, first, you realize that you want to work inside yourself. Second, you realize how hard it is to keep your attention on you. Third, be non-judgmental about what you're looking at. Fourth, once you get a good picture, and maybe that takes weeks, months, maybe you get to it quicker, but then once you see and you look around and you see the mess that's going on inside you, in your mind, in your emotions, in your body, in your breath, in your energy, the way you feel, the energy that you have, how you're spending it, then pick one little thing, and start with something that for sure you cannot fail about. You know it's so small that right now you can do it, and for sure you'll get a victory. You want to make sure every step you do with this is small enough that for sure, 100% of the time you can get a victory. And then you stack them together. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps, 6 steps. Maybe on you can go from 7 to 10, 10 to 15, and so on. But if you go slow enough and you make sure you win, that's really important. Make sure you can accomplish something with it. Eventually you'll get thousands and tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands of steps, and you'll have a whole new life inside. But you got to start somewhere, and you want to start with something that you know you can win, because you want to get that kind of dopamine reward from what you're doing. You want to start working with the things going on within you in a way that's sustainable, that makes you feel good, that makes you want to keep on going. And so you got to make sure you win. small winnable games, small winnable exercises. Later on, if you want to challenge yourself, that's cool. But get 1,000 small little wins. And if you have days you fail, no worries. It's simply part of life. Just pick up the next moment you think about it. Pick up the next time you can. And just decide that you are going to make some changes and that you're going to go step by step. And on the days you fail, just the next moment that you get it back under your control, in a sense, that you'll take another step forward from where you are. And just keep going, keep going, and keep going, and do it without beating up on yourself. Beating up on yourself is not helpful. So we'll keep going from here, and we'll add more to it. This is Todd. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for coming by.